Charles Darwin, a name synonymous with one of the most groundbreaking scientific theories in human history, evolution by natural selection. Born in a time when the prevailing view of the natural world was steeped in tradition and religious dogma, Darwin dared to challenge the status quo. His theory of evolution by natural selection stands as a testament to the power of observation, the importance of questioning accepted truths, and the enduring human quest to understand the world around us. This is the story of Charles Darwin, the man who changed our understanding of life. Charles Robert Darwin was born on February 12, 1809, in Shrewsbury, England. From a young age, Darwin displayed a keen interest in the natural world. He could often be found exploring the fields and forests near his home, collecting specimens, and observing the intricate details of plants and animals. Darwin's formal education, however, did not initially seem to align with his passions. He first pursued medicine at the University of Edinburgh but found medical lectures tedious and the sight of surgery unbearable. Seeking a different path, Darwin enrolled at Cambridge University to study theology, intending to become a clergyman. At Cambridge, Darwin's passion for the natural world flourished under the guidance of botany professor John Stevens Henslow. It was during his time at Cambridge that Darwin received an invitation that would forever alter the course of his life, an opportunity to join the HMS Beagle on a voyage around the world. In 1831, the HMS Beagle, a Royal Navy surveying ship, was preparing for a voyage around the world. The ship's captain, Robert Fitzroy, sought a gentleman naturalist to accompany him, someone who could make observations and collect specimens during the journey. Henslow recommended Darwin for the position. Darwin, at the age of 22, jumped at the opportunity. He convinced his reluctant father to finance the trip, and on December 27, 1831, the HMS Beagle set sail from Plymouth, England, with Charles Darwin aboard. The primary mission of the Beagle's voyage was to survey the coast of South America and conduct various scientific measurements. Darwin's role as the ship's naturalist allowed him to explore vast and diverse landscapes, from the lush rainforests of Brazil to the arid plains of Patagonia. Little did he know that this journey would provide the foundation for his groundbreaking theory of evolution. As the Beagle sailed from continent to continent, Darwin's notebooks filled with observations that challenged his existing beliefs about the natural world. He was particularly struck by the geographical distribution of species. In South America, Darwin unearthed fossils of extinct giant sloths and armadillos, creatures that bore a striking resemblance to the smaller living sloths and armadillos found in the same region. This discovery raised questions about the relationship between extinct and living species. Darwin observed subtle variations within species as well. He noted, for instance, that the beaks of finches on the Galapagos Islands differed slightly from island to island, seemingly adapted to the specific types of food available on each island. These observations led Darwin to question the prevailing view of his time that species were fixed and unchanging. Darwin's observations were not limited to the living world. He witnessed firsthand the powerful forces that shaped the Earth's geology, leading him to believe that the Earth was far older than previously thought. Section 5. The Galapagos Islands, a living laboratory. Perhaps the most influential stop on Darwin's journey was the Galapagos Islands, a volcanic archipelago off the coast of Ecuador. These islands, teeming with unique species, would become a living laboratory for Darwin's developing ideas about evolution. It was on the Galapagos that Darwin observed the remarkable variation in beak size and shape among the finches inhabiting different islands. These observations, along with his findings from other parts of the world, began to solidify Darwin's suspicion that species were not fixed, but rather capable of changing over time. The Galapagos Islands provided a compelling glimpse into the forces that might drive such change. Section 6. The birth of a theory, natural selection. Upon returning to England in 1836 after 5 years aboard the HMS Beagle, Darwin began the long and arduous task of organizing his vast collection of specimens and analyzing his observations. One key influence on Darwin's thinking was the work of Thomas Robert Malthus, an economist who argued that human populations grow faster than the resources available to sustain them, leading to competition for resources. Darwin realized that this principle of competition could also apply to the natural world. He recognized that individuals within a population often vary in their traits. and that organisms typically produce more offspring than can possibly survive. This overproduction of offspring leads to competition for limited resources. Darwin reasoned that individuals with traits that give them a slight advantage in this struggle for survival are more likely to survive, reproduce, and pass on their advantageous traits to their offspring. This process, which Darwin called natural selection, became the cornerstone of his theory of evolution. Section 7. A groundbreaking publication on the origin of species. For years after his return from the Beagle voyage, Darwin meticulously gathered evidence to support his theory of evolution by natural selection. He studied domesticated animals, observing how breeders selectively bred animals with desirable traits, demonstrating the power of artificial selection to shape the characteristics of a species. Darwin understood that his theory would be controversial, challenging deeply held beliefs about the natural world and humanity's place within it. Finally, in 1859, after more than 2 decades of research and deliberation, Darwin published his groundbreaking work on the origin of species by means of natural selection. Darwin's book presented his theory of evolution by natural selection with a wealth of evidence from his observations, experiments, and studies of domesticated animals. On the Origin of Species ignited a firestorm of controversy upon its publication. Darwin's ideas challenged the prevailing view of the time that species were created independently and immutably by a divine creator. Section 8. Darwin's enduring legacy, shaping scientific thought. Despite the controversy, Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection gradually gained acceptance within the scientific community. The elegance and explanatory power of his theory, supported by a growing body of evidence, proved compelling. Darwin's work revolutionized the field of biology, providing a unifying framework for understanding the diversity of life and the relationships between species. The concept of natural selection provided a mechanism for understanding how species change over time, leading to the development of new species and the extinction of others. Darwin's work laid the foundation for modern evolutionary biology, a field that continues to explore the intricacies of life on Earth and the processes that have shaped its evolution. Section 9. Beyond Evolution, Darwin's wider contributions. While Darwin is best known for his theory of evolution, his contributions to science extended far beyond this groundbreaking work. His keen powers of observation and meticulous research led to significant advances in other fields, including botany, zoology, and geology. Darwin's studies of orchids shed light on the intricate mechanisms of pollination and the coevolution of plants and insects. His fascination with earthworms led to groundbreaking research on the role of earthworms in soil fertility, demonstrating their importance in maintaining healthy ecosystems. Darwin's observations of coral reefs and volcanic islands during his Beagle voyage contributed to the understanding of geological processes and the formation of these unique habitats. Throughout his career, Darwin remained a passionate observer of the natural world, constantly seeking to understand the intricate workings of nature. Section 10. Confronting Controversy, Darwin's Theories and Their Critics. Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection, while ultimately embraced by the scientific community, has faced its share of controversy and criticism since its inception. Some of this criticism stems from religious beliefs that conflict with the idea of evolution and a common ancestry for all life on Earth. Others have raised objections based on perceived gaps in the fossil record or a misunderstanding of the mechanisms of natural selection. It is important to note that scientific theories by their very nature are subject to scrutiny, testing, and refinement. In the decades since Darwin's death, advances in genetics, paleontology, and other fields have provided overwhelming support for the fundamental principles of evolution by natural selection. While there is still much to learn about the details of evolutionary history, the core tenets of Darwin's theory remain a cornerstone of modern biology. Section 11. A Lasting Impact, Darwin's Relevance in the Modern World. More than 150 years after the publication of On the Origin of Species, Charles Darwin's ideas continue to resonate deeply in the modern world. His theory of evolution by natural selection remains a foundational principle in biology, shaping our understanding of life on Earth and our place within it. Darwin's work has profound implications for fields as diverse as medicine, agriculture, and conservation. Understanding the evolutionary relationships between species helps us develop new drugs, breed more resilient crops, and protect endangered species. The concept of natural selection has also found applications in fields outside of biology, such as computer science and economics. As we grapple with the challenges of the 21st century, Darwin's insights into the interconnectedness of life and the power of natural selection provide a valuable framework for understanding our world and shaping a society